Hi, I'm Sophie, and I'm going to take you through a hip opening flow today. So, we're going to start today's flow on our back in Supta Baddha Konasana. So, bringing the soles of the feet together, letting the knees fall out wide, and closing down the eyes. We'll just take a moment to settle into the body here, just noticing how it's feeling today. We'll start to notice the breath, so taking one hand to the belly and one hand to the chest. Just starting to breathe deeply in through the nose. And audibly exhaling through the mouth. Just taking a couple of clearing breaths here in your own time, in through the nose. And audibly exhaling. When you're ready, flutter open the eyes. Take the hands to the outer edges of the knees and squeeze the knees in towards your chest. Rising your forehead towards your knees, engaging your core. Before you exhale to release. We'll just bring one hand to each knee and just start to swirl them round, just pressing the lower spine into the mat. And just starting to wake up the back body. And just taking those circles one way and then the other. Starting to loosen out through any sticky areas. Keeping those hands on each knee, we're now going to draw the knees in towards the chest and send them in an outwards direction. So it's almost as if you're doing breaststroke with your legs. Loosening out into that hip space. Again, going one way and then the other. We're then going to take the legs up towards the sky. Bring the hands inside the legs and take hold of the outer edges of the calves, ankles, or feet. Arriving in our happy baby. So swaying from side to side here maybe. Tucking the chin towards the chest just to protect that neck. Now you might be doing this last thing of the day. You might be doing this in the morning. If you're doing it in the morning, sometimes our hips can feel really tight from when we've been to bed. So just finding movement can help ease into the stretch. And then we'll squeeze the knees in towards the chest. Bring the hands to the back of the thighs as we gently rock and roll up and down our mat. Again, loosening up through the back body, waking up vertebrae by vertebrae, eventually coming to cross the feet, roll all the way over the knees to arrive in a seated position at the top of our mat. Beginning our practice today with a collective breath. We'll roll shoulders up, back and down, grounding through the sit bones. Together we'll inhale. And audibly exhale through the mouth. Fluttering open the eyes now. We're going to pad the hands forward, roll over the knees, arriving in our child's pose. So taking the knees as wide as the mat, letting the toes touch, sitting the bottom back to the heels, and stretching those arms out ahead of you. You can take the forehead to the mat, maybe taking it from side to side. Just giving yourself a gentle head massage. On every exhale, we're trying to melt the chest a little further towards the ground here and really open out into those hips. On your next inhale, gaze forward. Shuffle those knees in a fraction as we creep the fingertips towards the front of the mat. Send the tailbone towards the sky and melt the chest down in your Anahatasana, your melting heart pose. So forehead finds the mat. We're up on the pads of our fingertips. Breathing here as we feel that gentle, energizing curve through the spine. We're here for 2 more breaths. Deeply breathing in through the nose. And your choice now to audibly exhale through the mouth or keep that breath in and out through the nose. On your next exhale, sitting back towards the heels. Pad the hands underneath the shoulders as we rock up to a wide-legged tabletop position. So in our regular tabletop, our shoulders are over our wrists and our hips are over our knees. But today we're going to keep those knees as wide as the mat. We're going to take a non-conventional cat-cow. So on your next inhale, we're going to dome the spine, sit all the way back to the heels, really feeling that space between the shoulder blades expand. Inhale, snake the body forward, curving the spine, lift the chest and lengthen. And exhale, rounding through the back body, doming the spine, chucking the chin towards the chest. Inhale, press down to lift up. Opening through the chest, lifting the gaze. And exhale to dome. One more time. Inhale, pressing down to lift up. And exhale, rounding through the back body. This time we'll bring the knees underneath the hips. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling out through the feet here. As we send the chest towards the thighs, drawing the heels down towards the ground and softening through the shoulders. Now remember, you can have a deep bend in your knee here to send that chest further towards the thighs. On your next inhale, gaze forward. Step your right foot and then the left foot to the top of the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. So our feet are hips distance apart here. We're sending the chest towards the thighs, taking hold of opposite elbows and letting the head hang heavy. Swaying from side to side here in our ragdoll. And then we'll interlace the hands, bring them to the base of the skull, and slowly bending the knees, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. When we get to the top, opening those elbows wide, standing tall, we're going to take a standing cat-cow. So with me, inhale here. Exhale, deep bend in the knees. Inhale, open the elbows wide, lift the chest, curve the spine. Exhale, dome, tucking the chin towards the chest, gazing towards the belly. Inhale, opening out through that heart space. And exhale to dome. So just to show you from the front, we're inhaling, opening those elbows out wide. And exhaling to dome, tucking the chin towards the chest and gazing towards the belly. One more time together. Inhale, opening those elbows out wide. And exhale, rounding through the back body. This time we'll straighten the legs, release the spine, Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, rise those arms towards the sky. Lightly touch the palms together and exhale, bend the knees, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins or knees. Look forward, flat back. And exhale, bend the knees to fold. We're going to step back with our right foot and then our left foot high plank. Shifting the weight forward. We're lowering knees, chest and chin all the way down to the belly. Zipping those elbows to the sides of the body. Rolling the shoulders up, back and down. Pressing down to lift the chest in cobra. Before we exhale, roll all the way back. Over the knees, tucking the toes and lifting the hips up and back, downward facing dog. On our next inhale, we're going to rise our right leg towards the sky. Bending that right knee as we open out through the hip. Now just take some circles through the feet here. Maybe you want to circle the knee around, opening out into the hip. Just for a couple of breaths. And then we'll square the hips, send that right leg high, and step or guide it between the hands. Lowering the back knee down, keeping those back toes tucked. We're going to press down to lift up. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. One breath here, inhale, lifting tall. Exhale, come to frame that front foot. This time we lift and lengthen. And we're going to peel back to our Ardha Hanumanasana, our half split. So we can have a deep bend in that front knee, flexing those toes towards the face. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, thinking chin to shin as we bow. Like a wave, we're going to move through these two postures. So inhale, press down to lift up. Anjaneyasana. And as if we're moving through honey, we're going to press the arms all the way back, sending the chest down, flexing that front foot. 2 more times. Inhale, press down to lift up. shining that heart space forward, lifting up and out of the hips. And exhale, moving through the honey, pressing the palms backwards, sending the chest down. This time we'll come down to frame that front foot. Tuck back toes, lift the back knee. Press down through your left hand as you peel up through the right. Easy twist. Gazing towards those lifted fingertips. Breathing here. We're here for one breath. Inhale. On our exhale, we're going to roll onto the outer edge of that left foot. Sink the bottom down into our revolve Skandasana. So we're gazing towards the right side of the room. Towards those right fingertips. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale to soften. This time we're going to inhale, revolve all the way back around. Right hand lands inside the right foot. Heel toe the right foot to the outer edge of the mat. Arriving in our lizard lunge. So we can lower the back knee down, untuck the back toes. And just softening here. Really trying to send the breath to create space in those tighter areas. Maybe you want to inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale to lower down onto the forearms. And breathing here as we soften into the posture. If you're looking for a heart opener today, we can rise up onto the hands, sweep that right arm all the way forward and back, and maybe reach up to catch those back toes. So we're pressing the hips forward here, lifting the chest towards the sky, and feeling that lovely opening through the hip space. Don't worry if you can't catch the bind. You can always just send your right hand towards the back of the room. We're here for one breath. Inhale. Exhale, fly that right hand back inside the right foot. Tuck back toes, lift back knee. We're just going to take a couple of rocks forward and backwards here to build some momentum. And when you're ready, we're going to step that left foot to the outside of the left hand, sitting down in our Malasana squat. So elbows pressing inside of the knees, lifting the chest and lengthening. Maybe you want to find a bit of movement here, fingertips on the floor, wiggling the hips from side to side. Breathing here. You can even close down the eyes here. One more time. Elbows inside the knees. Lift the chest and lengthen. Exhale, soften. Fingertips find the ground. Heel toe the feet, hips distance apart. Uttanasana, forward fold. Moving through our flow. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Look forward. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend the knees to fold. This time we're going to step back with the left foot and then the right, high plank. Shifting the weight forward, you can either drop knees, chest, chin, or come with me high to low plank all the way to the belly. Elbows in towards the side of the body as we lift the chest in cobra. And then we'll roll back all the way over the knees, tucking the toes and lifting the hips up and back, downward facing dog. So maybe giving the hips a little wiggle here. You can take a nice clearing breath. Inhale through the nose. Sighing out through the mouth. Moving straight onto the left-hand side now. Inhale, left leg to sky. Flex the toes. Bending into that left knee as we open out through the hips. Three-legged dog. So we can take some circles into that left ankle. Or maybe even start to take that knee in a larger circle, opening out through that hip space. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, square the hips. Step or guide that left foot between the hands. Lower the back knee down as we press down to lift up. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. So we're lifting up and out of the hips here. Left knee tracking in line with left ankle. Lift the chest and lengthen. Inhaling here, find space between the shoulders and the ears. Before we exhale, come to frame that front foot and peel back Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. So we're really trying to draw the left hip back, right hip forward here. Fingertips either side of that right calf, fingertips either side of that left calf, flexing the left toes towards the face. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale to bow. This time we're going to come forward, moving through our waves again. So pressing down to lift up, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Exhale, come to frame that front foot. Peel back, Ardha Hanumanasana. As if we're moving through the water, press down, lift up, Anjaneyasana. And exhale, moving through, pressing those palms back, sending the chest towards the thighs. This time we're going to come forward, frame that left foot, pressing down into the right hand as we tuck back toes, lift back knee, peel up through the left arm in our easy twist. So rotating from the center of the spine, gazing towards those lifted fingertips. If that's too much, you can always gaze down at the floor or even lower that back knee down. Breathing here, one more breath, inhale. Exhale, rotate onto the outside of that right foot and send that left hand towards the back of the room in our revolved Skandasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale to soften. One more breath, inhale. Exhale, fly that left hand inside the left foot. Heel toe the left foot to the outer edge of the mat. Rocking backwards and forwards for just a moment before we lower the back knee down, untuck back toes and arrive in our lizard lunge. Again, maybe inhaling to lift the chest and lengthen. Exhaling to bow, maybe lowering onto those forearms. Just melting into the posture here, sending the breath to create space. Remember to respect the difference between both sides of your body. For me personally, this side is a lot tighter. So if you're up on your hands like this and you were down on the forearms on the other side, that's absolutely fine. Listening to your body and just remembering that we're always going to have differences on both sides, and that's totally fine. When you're ready, we'll come into our heart opener if you took it on the other side. So reaching that left arm all the way up and back, maybe coming to catch those back toes. Opening through the heart space, through the hips, releasing any tension. We're here for one breath, inhale. Exhale, fly that left hand back inside the left foot, tuck back toes, lift back knee. We're coming back to our Malasana squat, so taking a couple of rocks forward and backwards to build some momentum. And then we'll step the right foot outside of the right hand, sit the bottom down, yogi squat. So if you don't know what a yogi squat looks like, we're pressing down through the feet, flexing the toes towards the face, taking the elbows inside the knees, lifting the chest and lengthening. Now, if that's too much, you can always sit on a block, and also don't worry if your heels are off the ground. Breathing here, we're here for one breath, inhale. Exhale, maybe taking the fingertips to the ground, finding some movement, really loosening out into the hip area. One more time, inhale, lift and lengthen. Lift the chest, look forward. Exhale, fingertips find the ground, heel toe the feet, hips distance apart as you send the tailbone up towards the sky and forward fold. Moving through our flow, inhale, fingertips to shins, look forward, flat back. Exhale, bend the knees to fold. This time stepping back with the right foot and then the left, high plank. Shift the weight forward. You know your options, knees, chest, chin, or high to low plank. Coming all the way to the belly. Elbows in towards the sides of the body as we lift the chest in cobra. And then exhale, roll all the way back. Over the knees, tucking the toes and lifting the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Moving into our next posture sequence. Inhale, right leg towards the sky, flex the toes. Step or guide the foot between the hands. Press down to lift up, high lunge. Hips facing forward, pressing down to lift up, keeping the neck long. One breath here, inhale. Exhale, fan the arms open, warrior two. So we're really trying to press into the outer edge of the back foot, deep bend in that front knee, and it's tracking in line with our front ankle. Softening through the shoulders. One breath here, inhale. Exhale, turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of your mat. Bend the knees as you interlace the hands behind the back body, lift the chest and lengthen. And exhale as we bow down in our Prasarita Padottanasana, our wide-legged forward bend. If interlacing the hands above the head is too much, you can always take them to the outer edges of the feet. Breathing here. If you've got a lot of range here, maybe you want to even walk the hands back through the legs. We'll come onto our fingertips. Inhale, lift and lengthen, flat back. And then we're going to turn our left heel towards our body. Deep bend into that left knee and come into our Skandasana. So in our Skandasana, again, much like our Malasana, it doesn't matter if our heel is lifted. If you can, placing that heel down, flexing those right toes towards the face, we'll stretch the left hand inside the left knee and peel up through the right. And breathing here. We're here for one breath. Inhale. Exhale, pat the hands around to frame that front foot. Pressing down to lift up as we send the right leg all the way back towards the sky. And then we're going to bring the right knee to the back of the right wrist. Placing that right calf down, flexing the toes to protect the knee. Coming into our pigeon. So just take a quick peek and check that your foot is in line. Check the hips are square. You can always place a block underneath that right glute. Untucking those back toes now. Together we'll inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale to bow. So nesting our pigeon, softening towards the ground. You can either be on your forearms or maybe you want to come to lie on your belly. Breathing here as we melt the chest towards the ground, softening into that hip space. We're here for one more breath. Inhale. Exhale, pat the hands back towards the body. Rising up onto our palms. We're now going to sit down onto our right glute and sweep our left leg all the way around. So take the left leg over the right knee if you can. If you can't, you can always place it in front of the right calf. So left leg over right knee if you can, grounding down through the sit bones. Using your left hand to keep you balanced. We're going to inhale, right arm to sky. And exhale, hug or hook the right elbow over the left knee to twist. So we're sitting tall here, rotating from the center of the spine. We're not forcing the neck to go anywhere it doesn't want to go. Just let that gaze follow. We're here for one breath. Inhale. Before we exhale, counter twist. Decompress that spine, rotating in the opposite direction. We're now going to sweep that left leg all the way around in a big circle, pressing down into the right hand. And we're going to roll up onto that right knee and find a baby wild thing. So stretching the arms towards the sky, pressing the hips forward. Before we sit the bottom down, tuck that left leg in, roll over the knees. Stepping back through our high plank, moving through your flow, so high to low plank. Coming through your cobra. And then we'll all meet back in our downward facing dog. So we've got the last bit of hard work now before we start to wind down our practice. So inhale, left leg to sky. Step or guide the foot between the hands. Press down to lift up. High lunge. Keeping the hips square. Imagine you've got two headlights and they're shining forward. Keeping the neck long, softening through the shoulders. One breath here, inhale. Exhale, fan the arms open, warrior two. Softening through the shoulders, deep bend in that front knee and pressing into the outer edge of the back foot. You want to really feel like your shoulder blades are being clipped together and pulled back and down in this position. So I'll just face this way now. So in our warrior two, deep bend in the left knee. Inhale here. Exhale, turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of your mat. This time we'll take a swan dive forward. So inhale, take the arms towards the sides. Exhale, melt the chest down towards the ground as we forward fold. Breathing here. Again, you can walk the hands back through the legs. You can keep them on the outer edges of the feet or calves, bending the knees as much as you like here. Together we'll inhale, come onto fingertips, lift and lengthen, halfway lift. And this time we're turning that right heel in towards the body, deep bend in that right knee as you flex the left toes towards the face, coming into your Skandasana. So right fingertips inside right knee, lifting up through the left arm. Again, respecting the difference between both sides of the body. One side is always going to feel much more open than the other. We're here for one breath. Inhale. Exhale, pad the hands forward to frame that front foot. Engaging the core as we sweep the left leg all the way up and back, three-legged dog. And then the left knee comes to the back of the left wrist, placing that left calf down, shuffling those right toes towards the back of the mat. Sitting evenly between the hips, untucking those back toes. Together we'll inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale to nest our pigeon, melting the chest down. Again, remembering that you can be on the forearms, you can stay up on the hands, or you can maybe come down all the way to lie the chest on the ground. One breath here, inhale. Exhale to soften. This time we're going to sweep our right leg all the way around to cross over our left knee if we can, coming into our seated twist. So grounding down through the sit bones. Together we'll inhale, lift the left arm towards the sky, and exhale to hug. So that's wrapping the left arm around the right knee, or hook, so left elbow over right knee to twist. Again, rotating from the center of the spine, sitting up tall here. Our inhales give us length, and our exhales allow us to twist a little further around. Letting the gaze follow, we're here for one more breath. Inhale. Exhale, counter twist, decompress the spine, rotating in the other direction. We're now going to sweep that right leg all the way around in a big circle, lifting up onto our left knee, placing the left hand down as we sweep the right arm all the way around, pressing the hips towards the sky in our baby wild thing. And then we're going to sit the bottom down. Tucking that right leg in, rolling over the knees, stepping back, high plank, moving through our last flow, so high to low plank, knees, chest, chin, snaking the body forward for our cobra. Exhale, release, and we'll all meet back. Tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back in our last downward facing dog. On your next inhale, gaze forward. Take as many teeny tiny steps as you like to come to find a seated position at the top of our mat. Now we're going to take a relaxed forward fold today. So bring the feet together in Baddha Konasana, but we're going to take them quite far away from the body today. So taking the feet out in front of you, just letting the knees loosely fall out wide. Now we're not going to force the body to go anywhere it doesn't want to go here. And we're going to forget everything about chest-thigh connection in our forward folds. We're going to take a relaxed forward fold, so leading from the crown of the head, rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae. Just letting the head hang heavy and coming to soften over the legs. So we're really not forcing the body to go anywhere here. We're not pulling down. It does help if you remove any fleshy bits at the bottom, so maybe pull those bits out. It helps you just to get that little bit of extra range. Softening here. Trying to return our breath back to its regular rhythm. On the next inhale, rising up vertebrae by vertebrae, the head arrives last. We'll plant our feet at the top of our mat, shuffling the bottom forward. One hand on each knee. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale to lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. Coming all the way to lie down on our backs. We'll just take the hands to opposite elbows above the head and windscreen the legs from side to side. So just loosening out into those hips for one last time. Maybe closing down the eyes here and just starting to quieten the mind. We'll finish our practice today the way we began, with a happy baby. So when you're ready, stretching those legs towards the sky, taking hold of the outer edges of the feet, calves or ankles, so the arms are inside the legs in our happy baby. Swaying from side to side. Maybe this time you want to extend one leg. and then the other, just noticing all that lovely, juicy space we've created. When you're ready, we'll release one leg and then the other, coming to lie on our backs. Softening here. We'll release the tongue from the roof of our mouth. Feeling the weight of the chest, the shoulders, and the hips grounding down through the floor. The arms, the hands, thighs, calves, and feet. Your palms are facing up towards the sky. Quietening the mind here. Focusing on the breath as we soften into the ground. Arriving in our final and most important posture of the practice, our Savasana. If you find your mind wandering, just keep bringing your awareness back to the weight of your body on the floor and the sound and the movement of your breath. We'll be here for a couple more moments, starting to notice all that lovely space you've created. We hold a lot of emotion in our hips, so perhaps this practice has brought up some stuff for you, and that's totally fine. It's totally normal. Just sit with those thoughts, just being aware of what came up for you today. When you're ready, we'll begin to wiggle the toes and wiggle the fingers, bringing some energy, some prana back into the body. Feel it filtering through the body to all those lovely new spaces we've created. Eventually, you can come to bring the hands to the base of the skull and just find a bit of space through the spine. Taking this into a nice big stretch now, fingertips all the way down to the toes. We'll tuck the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze, wrapping your arms around. Finding a moment of gratitude for your body and everything it did for you today. When you're ready, rolling onto whichever side feels most comfortable. And eventually coming to find a seated position at the top of our mat. So sitting up nice and tall, again, moving any fleshy bits at the bottom. Together we'll roll the shoulders up, back and down, grounding through the sit bones. Inhale, rising the arms towards the sky. Exhale, drawing them down to our heart center. Bowing our chin towards our chest. Finding gratitude for our body. As we bow, namaste.